Well, again, afternoon, Raiders, VHR members, YouTubers. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I'm going to talk about Operator Thogar involving normal and heroic with a couple of additions that I'd like to point out. Instead of doing a mechanics videos, which I noticed we're getting a little bit of time, I'm going to do more of like a musical PowerPoint approach for those in the future. So you'll see those coming up for the Iron Maidens and for Thogar and for Blackhand. So look for those. They're going to be in a tight format. Going to be a little cleaner. We'll try to put a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more professionalism behind how they look using the PowerPoint presentation system. So we'll see what you think. It'll be a talk over with, each one of the pages rotating. So, but on this here, what we're going to do is just do a quick battle plan breakdown. Remember to pre-raid, you need to have the add-on Thogar assist. It really helps with designating when tanks or when the trains are coming in. And that way you can help with identifying it. Remember to hero at the start. And this is just how the breakdown is. You're basically going to see 4 lanes, and what you need to do is throw a flag up on each one in conjunction with this add-on. It'll really help you with designating what's going on. Don't try and ride the line either in between each one of these, because the fire that's coming off of them is going to do damage to you and knock you back also. So it just helps just get into a designated line and tank accordingly where you need to tank them. Now remember, there's going to be a tank switch consistently that needs to be done at 2 for the enkindling DOT. Need to watch out for prototype pulse grenades, which are thrown at range. They leave an electrical void zone that does damage, and it pulls in nearby players. Thogar also has an active buff with called Berated, which increases damage, haste, speed every 10 seconds. So what we want to make sure that we're looking at is that as the trains come through and they stop, the group makeups kind of break down into the same 3. So what we want to do is recognize what those are and then make sure that we address them properly. Now, starting with the first group, it'll be 4 crack shots and 12 raiders. Random grenadiers basically splashing damage from both the adds. There will be a 6-second bleed DOT on the tanks at this point, and rifle shots on whoever has the threat of the target. Most of this is going to involve lots of AoE, so make sure that you're really solid on your multi-target attack rotation. We're also going to sit there and designate 2 groups, but I'll get to that later on in the next couple of minutes on the video. And remember, there's lots of movement too, especially when it involves, for example, each one of these groups. Now, the second group that we want to talk about is 2 crack shots, 2 firemenders, and 1 man-at-arms. You have the continued grenade damage being present from the crack shots. Make sure that you're interrupting the firemender's Cattering Bolt, which damage targets and all those nearby. And then you have dispel those hots as they come through on the adds. The man-at-arms roars and does a raid-wide damage. Iron Bellow and charges melee or the tanks. Melees need to stay behind him to avoid being charged. So what we'll do is when they're out, we'll just make sure that we set up a formation where range is active in the lane, most of the time to the south, and then we'll keep the target in the center or north, and then melee can take a position to the west or to the east. Just make sure that you're not facing in the direction make sure you're facing them from behind. The third group is the gunnery sergeant. He'll stay on the train, and he uses a cannon that lobs 3 delayed siege bombs at a single player. The bombs deal damage with a knockback that's within about 5 yards. So what we want to do is make sure that we have a spread when a gunnery sergeant comes out to minimize it. They also ebb themselves into the ground, explode 30 seconds later, so everything within 9 yards. So make sure you have a 9-yard radius from wherever the bombs end up hitting the ground. Range needs to make sure that they continue to focus on the sergeant during this time, and melee needs to stay on the boss. Bomb mark players move slightly away from the raid as soon as possible and place the bomb down. So this is very similar to other pre-functions that we've seen, for example, like in SOO, where you get the bomb on you, you need to take it. For the bombs, we'd like to see them to the outsides, for example, but say your train's coming out and you were going for this one, just move over and just try to keep them to the south as consistently as you can. Melee, you can take them to the north. So range to the south with bombs, melee to the north with bombs. And that'll give us a designated spot to be able to put them consistently and out of the way. But we want to try to keep this center area as open as we can, because that's going to be the main area that we're going to shuffle through each time based on when the trains are coming through. You don't want to go too far, so make sure that you're moving consistently and just move to the middle of the lane each time. Notes, though, is that with the add-on and the ground markers, you're still going to have to call it out. So as raid leader, I'll make sure that I'll get that memorized and we're saying it properly. Around 2 minutes and the 4 minute mark, though, there's going to be two trains, and they're going to come through our center lanes, lane B, lane C. Okay, and this is when we needed to have the two groups pre-pull formed up. And what we're going to want to do is make sure we have a balance of healers, balance of DPS, and a tank on each one. And what we're going to want to see is group 1 is going to immediately shoot to here, group 2 is immediately going to shoot to here. And then you have to engage the targets at this point, so that way you can deal with the ads as soon as they come off. Because what you're going to do is get 2 train loads at this time instead of being 1. What you're going to want to see is a position here, and then just deal with the mechanics of the trains as they come through. Same on over here. And that's pretty much a breakdown of the fight. If you have any questions, please post below. If you have any comments, any suggestions, please also do so. Remember, in-game you can see us. We'll be attempting this boss on Monday. We attempted him a little bit, and we got him to I think 72%, and we didn't even know what we were doing. We didn't even have a write-up or anything. We just kind of stumbled on him by accident after we made we killed Ori, and then we moved over to the Beast Lord guy, and we knocked him down too. So this is what you'll see on Monday night. You'll probably also see Flamebender. You'll probably also see Hans and Franz on my Scion 35 Twitch channel. I'm going to start broadcasting live on YouTube also. So if you get an opportunity, please check us out. Remember to continue to click like, subscribe, share, let your guild mates please participate in what I'm doing here. And I thank you so much for your time. Have a great one.